Sorry, the last thing I heard you say was, let me, I believe you said, let me give that to you.
No,
I'll
let me
record it.
record. Yeah, and then
Yeah.
I'm going to answer the question that Doris had.
And what was the question, please?
Her question is about SoCal homeowners insurance and what's going to happen, what's happening with it.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
So, oh, you're welcome. Absolutely. So good morning, everybody. Thank you guys for being on. Happy Monday. You guys know this is an interactive session, so I definitely want you guys to interact, ask questions. That makes it more fun. If you can turn on your cameras, right? That would make it better so that I can see your faces if you can. I know some of you can't. But it also allows me not to talk to just, pictures. So it makes it great. Thank you, Juan. I appreciate you, even though you're driving. That is so freaking awesome. I appreciate you. Thank you, Eliadora. So the question, and I'm sure Doris had this question, and I'm sure it's a burning question for some of us, is what is the state of the insurance industry? And how are California homeowners going to be impacted that either lost their homes or in highly impacted areas? Even some of you guys some of us who are in transactions close to those areas, right? Well, what I know is that right now there's a moratorium on cancellations. Thank you, Doris. There's a moratorium on cancellations. So there cannot be any cancellation of policies in California at this time for impacted areas, okay? So if you had a policy, you'll have a policy. Even those who failed to, they said that even people who didn't pay their premiums or were in the process of cancellation, it cannot not be canceled. It cannot be canceled at this time. They also said that that there's a moratorium on non-renewals. So if your policy was up for renewal, the insurance agency cannot not renew it. Okay. Does that make sense to everybody?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So at this point, if you had a policy, it's going to cover you. Now, obviously, some people, especially those who had already paid off their homes and we're experiencing underinsurance, right? They were underinsured. So to rebuild their home is going to cost them more than what their insurance policy had. That's a whole nother challenge. But in terms of, those companies and what they're going to be able to do, they are going to insure those homes. I will tell you this, and I've talked to several people, including our own Tiffany Chang, who lives in Pasadena. They're saying that the cleanup alone, you guys, the cleanup alone, not even the rebuild, the cleanup alone is 2 to 3 years. Massive. Massive. The devastation of this fire is unprecedented. It's the largest in history in California of home structures that were taken. So it is devastating. And they're saying, and actually I do have a slide in here, Doris, and I'll cover that a little bit at the end when we talk about industry news. But yes, California Fair Plan is still insuring homes in high fire zones. That's been the case even before this happened. California Fair Plan is like the fallback. If there's nothing else that can insure that home, California Fair Plan has always been the one that guarantees insurance. Okay, it is a state funded or a federal, I think it's state or federal, I need to find out, but it is a government insurance provider. Okay.
It's only for fire.
And it's only for fire. Absolutely. It is only for fire.
Now, is it a lot more expensive than regular insurance?
It is normally more expensive, Doris. Now I will say,
no, it
wasn't a lot more expensive though, because several of my clients have used it and it was not a lot more expensive.
It's okay. It's cheaper because it's only the fire.
Well, it's not cheaper. It's not cheaper because you've got to have fire and plus, right?
No, I mean, but like if your house can only, like, for example, like in the past, we don't do it anymore, but some people they couldn't, because their debt to income ratios were so tight that
Mm.
the California Fair Plan was the only way to go, just to close, because it was cheaper. The
Gotcha.
policy was smaller. It was like, yeah.
Right. So like Shelley's saying, relatively it's smaller because it's only covering one component, right? Fire damage.
But why would you proceed with a purchase if you only get fire damage? What about any other hazard?
You're assuming responsibility, Doris.
Oh, that's horrible.
If that's the only way you can get in, then you're assuming responsibility and that's really only for debt to income ratio. Remember, once you close, then you can go do what you want to do. So if your debt to income ratio is tight and you just need those numbers to make sense, right? For the loan's sake, and I'm in quotations, the loan's sake, then once you get past once you close, then you go back to your insurance agent and say, let's put this policy in place, and you pay for your policy.
Okay.
Right. But if you couldn't pay for it because, because everything was tight getting into the home, like for me, I mean, full transparency for me, when me and my husband got into our home, the policy was extremely expensive because I only had $1,000 deductible, for, any damage, water, all of that. Right. And then they wanted me to put that Moen system on for the leak detection, right? Another $800. So it was like all this stuff was starting to stack up. And so basically, just to make it make sense for me, I told our agent, actually, because he did mine, Anthony, I'm sorry, Andy. And I told Andy, I said, look, Andy, put a 10K deductible on there, because he showed me all these numbers. I said, put a 10K deductible on there. Once I close, I'm going to drop it back down to 1,000 and I'll pay the difference. And that's what we did. Because I don't want a $10,000 deductible, if I have water damage, but it made the numbers make sense.
Okay. And one other question is, for investors, it may not make sense, because I was talking to a hard money lender who was encouraging to stay with investments in NorCal rather than SoCal, just because of the insurance issue that's going to be in place for a little while.
Well, isn't that, I mean, I don't know. I mean, if someone is saying that, maybe they're more of an expert than I am, because I promise you that I don't claim to be an expert, but I think that is kind of geographically, it could make sense if you're in high fire zone or high flood zone or something like that. But if you're not, then
Okay.
I don't think that you're as impacted, as other areas.
Okay. Oh, that's good to know, because when they say SoCal, I'm going, that's all of, Southern California. That's going to screw up the real estate market. But okay.
But also,
I'll listen to the.
Go ahead, Shelley.
I was gonna say NorCal. I mean, there's a lot of fire zones up there too. But I was gonna tell you, Brandy, did you know? Because I didn't hear Andy say this on the meeting last week, because I use Farmers as well, but I use it with Crespo. But that you have to install. You have 1 year after the close of escrow to install the Moen water
the Moen system. Yeah,
you know that, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Just want to make sure. Just want to make sure everybody knew that, because I didn't hear him say.
You have it with them. That's not a requirement for everybody. It's a farmer's requirement.
It's only farmers. Yeah, that's what I'm.
Yeah, it's only farmers. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
so
all.
Farmers requires that leak detection system, but they give you a discount on your insurance if you have it.
Yeah, and before they didn't bundle it, like where you'd have to get your own person to install it. Now it's like for $750 you get installation and the monitor.
Yeah.
And you have a year to do it. Yes. Okay, that's all.
Okay, cool. Thank you for that, Shelley. Appreciate that. Absolutely. And like he said, he gave the statistics. It's causing it's highly successful in detecting leaks and decreasing the damages, and so therefore decreasing the claims. And so that's why they're making it mandatory. That's why they're pushing it, because obviously they, as an insurance company, they're trying to mitigate their own risk, right? And mitigate your risk, which then mitigates their risk of having to pay out a sizable claim. And he gave us, you guys should go back and listen. His information is probably right in the middle of the meeting, but he gave some really good information regarding like why these claims are so sizable, and you know what's going on and how we've gotten here. It wasn't just the fires. You guys know we've been in an insurance kind of issue. Insurance has had an issue. The industry has had an issue now for a couple of years. So, which is why Allstate and State Farm has stopped renewing our policies in California, because California actually regulates the insurance industry in California, right? Other states don't regulate the insurance industry, but in California, our government regulates the insurance industry, which means they can't go up on our premiums over a certain percentage. It's almost kind of like being in a rent control state, right? We're in an insurance control state. And because of that, they are not able to make the income they need in order to cover all of the claims that they're paying out. So that's the primary issue. But we will definitely we'll definitely get more in. You guys need to watch that recording if you missed it. And then I just have a little bit of update in terms of more insurance stuff from an article that I read. All righty. So let's hop in now to the weekly industry update. Let's see. So for LA County, you guys, for LA County, for sale properties was up 10% right here over last month. Okay, so a little bit more inventory, but look at this. We are up 39.4% over last year at this time. So remember, we ended the year last year, we were up in the 40%, and now we're up 39.4% in the beginning of the year. What does that mean? More people are putting their homes on the market. Is anybody seeing that besides me? I have a new listing in Carson right now that just went active. I have another one coming up in Compton. So I have more sellers calling me right now saying, hey, Brandy, I'm thinking about selling. Now, one of them, my Carson listing, she's got to sell. She's in a situation, need to sell, right? Not any desperation, just it's time and she needs to sell. My other one, though, they don't need to sell. They want to sell. And they're tired of waiting for interest rates to do whatever they're going to do. They're like, nope, obviously interest rates are going to be in the 6s and the 7s. We want to buy because we want to go ahead and buy a bigger home. So let's sell our home and let's buy us a bigger home. We're tired of waiting, right? So we're starting to see that. So that's where we have to be sowing our seeds in our database so that when they decide, when they have that click that says, you know what, I'm tired of this, I'm ready to get out of this situation, you're the person that they call. Okay. So definitely we're seeing more inventory come on the market, which is good because now we've got some inventory for these buyers that are sitting out here also saying, I'm tired of waiting. You know what? 6%, between 6 and 7 is where it's going to be at. Let's go ahead and buy. Okay. Sold properties has gone down 37.8%. So that's closings have gone down 37.8% over last month and down 12.9% over last year so far in January, which is pretty much almost the end of January. Pendants went down 6.8% over last month and 10.7% down over last year. So far we're lagging about 10%, 11% as compared to last year in terms of closings. Okay. So we know that the what do you call it? The trend or the prediction is that we are actually going to end up higher in closings than we did last year. But right now we're in the beginning of the year. We're still in what we call the holiday season, right? We come out of that really in February. January is all happy new year, you know. Now we're starting to see people starting to put those homes on the market, hence the inventory. So now that we've got more inventory coming on, hopefully that will translate into more closings, more pendants, right? So let's look at, what I did want to show you is just last year, this is here, we ended up with 29% the last quarter as compared to the last quarter of 2023, compared to the last quarter of 2024, new inventory or for sale inventory was 29% higher, right? So we are definitely going into the new year with more inventory, and then it got bumped up in January. So we are doing good in terms of inventory coming on the market in LA County. So I just really wanted you guys to start seeing that, because people are still saying, oh, there's such an inventory shortage, and there is. But guess what? We're getting relief. We are getting inventory coming on the market. So if you've got buyers out there, definitely it's time for us to start being more aggressive in looking for them properties, because properties are coming on the market. Okay. New listing inventory. Wow, it went up 78.5% higher than it did last month. So new listings really hit the market hard. And then 6.9% increase overall. So definitely we're seeing new inventory come on the market. That is great. Again, that's what we need to see. So average active price was 2.9% higher than it was last month, 13.4% lower than it was last year. Average active price, so what the sellers are asking for, right? What their properties are on average asking for. 13.4% less than it was last year. However, look at this, 9.5% higher than it was last year. So as an average right now, sellers are getting or receiving 9.5% higher than they did last year, almost 10%. So we'll see how this continues to play out, but definitely sellers are happy. Their appreciation right now is almost in the double digits in LA County. Now, again, we have to be super hyper local, because you've got to know where you fall in this category. Okay. You've got to know, meaning your neighborhood, right? Where does your neighborhood fit into this? What's the average active price in your neighborhood, and what's the average sold price in your neighborhood, right? So don't just go by this chart. You got to get hyper local and look at your specific area. And then months of inventory. Here is one of the biggest telltale signs is, look at this, you guys. We are 75.8% higher than we were last month. So last month in December, we were at 2.4 months of inventory. All those bumps in inventory took us to 4.2 months of inventory. What does that mean? We're at 4.2 months of inventory, a 61% increase over last year. 4.2 months of inventory. What does that mean? Somebody, anybody, everybody scream. Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, wait, that means that we're getting back into a normal market closer?
Yes, yes, ma'am, Shelly, you got it. That's my girl. We are getting back to a normal market. We just hit the threshold for entering into a normal market, where that means supply and demand come into equality, if you will, come into alignment. Okay. So there's enough homes out there to meet demand. Just initially, we're just getting into that phase. Okay. And that's 4.2 months of inventory. So we are at a good place. We're getting into that, and we're hoping that that will continue to grow. But what that means is you come from a seller's market, right? You go from a seller's market into a normal market, into a buyer's market. Okay. And what also does that mean? What is the other thing that this months of inventory may mean? What is another thing that this may mean to your sellers? May mean for your sellers? Somebody tell me.
Can you repeat that again?
What does having 4.2 months of inventory on the market, or more homes on the market, mean for your sellers? What also might that mean for your sellers?
That they can find a replacement property?
Well, yeah, that's true. They could find a replacement property. Absolutely, Shelly. That's good. What else?
Or do you mean something positive or negative?
It doesn't matter.
More offers.
Well, it actually,
No.
More
actually,
options.
it might mean less offers,
Well,
right?
that's why I was asking, are you talking negative or positive?
No, I want all the implications.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Negative and positive.
you could possibly get less buyers because there's
Yeah.
more properties on the market that they're looking at. So
That's
less
it.
offers, not
Less
as much
offers.
competition. Yeah.
Less competition, absolutely. More
But-
days on
but-
market,
But
right?
at least if they're buying a replacement property, now they have more options, and maybe they don't have to come up as high
That's right.
competition.
right.
So that's a plus for them to sell.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's a plus for them to sell. They may stay on the market a little longer, right? They may stay on the market a little longer. When the market is hot and you're the only game in town, then everybody rushes to that listing. Okay. But when there's multiple properties on the market in that neighborhood, you might not be the only game in town, which means that you might actually have to stay on the market a little bit longer to get sold. So instead of selling in 7 days, it might take you 25 days to sell. So here's what I'm just going to impress upon you guys. The number one complaint from sellers and buyers, by the way, is lack of communication with their agent. Okay. It's kind of hard to have lack of communication when you sell in 7 days, right? Because you're constantly talking with your seller, trying to make sure you get the offer accepted, negotiating the offer, going back and forth. It's kind of hard because things are happening fast and furious. But when the property is sitting on the market for 30 days and you put it on the market, you're showing the property, but you're not giving feedback as to the showings and nobody's making an offer, you know, then you don't talk to your seller for 2 weeks. That's a problem. So the number one complaint is lack of communication. It is so important that as the days on market rise, as there's more inventory coming on the market and more competition for your seller, it's so important to give them a weekly update as to what's going on with their property and make sure that you're checking in with them on a weekly basis, if not twice a week, just to update them and let them know what you're doing on their behalf. This is where the professionals really show their professionalism, really show their value. Because whether you got an update or not, you know, you need to be checking in with your seller. Nothing's happened. Just wanted to let you know that I'm out here marketing your property. Nothing's really happened in the market. No new homes came on the market in your area. Nothing sold. So no comps have been updated in the area. You see what I'm saying? You're updating them as to what's going on. So we had a list, we had a showing yesterday. The agent said such and such, right? Which means you're having to call them and find out, what did the family think about the property? Or what did the person think about the property? And you're giving that feedback to your sellers. Okay. No filter. Give them the feedback. They need to know what's going on. All right. So let's look at average days on market. So average days on market went up 10.8% over last month. So we were at 37 days on market last month. We're at 41 days on market currently. And that's up 13.9% over last year. Last year, we were at 36 days on market. Currently, we're at 41 days on market. So with the increase of inventory, increase of average days on market, it all makes sense, you guys. These numbers should start really clicking for you guys. You should be able to say, oh, I know what's going to happen next, right? Because you know that if there's more inventory on the market, then obviously, more than likely, we have our absorption rate went up, right? And that could mean average days on market goes up, especially when you couple that with what we know right now is that interest rates have gone up. They've gone down actually since for the last like 2-3 weeks. They've actually gone down, but they've only ticked down slightly. They have not been like, woo, going down 0.25%, 0.5%. No. We're talking about 1/8 of a percent. Some very small. Okay. So we were at 7. We're at 6.875. Okay. So, or 7, because we were at like 7.125. So just know that you're in there. All right. So sold versus original list price, no difference. We were at 96% of list price last month. We're at 96% of list price currently. Okay. So sellers are receiving 96% of what they list the property for. We're at up 1.1% over last year. We are at 95% of list price. And again, currently at 96% of list price. All right. So let's hop into Orange County. Orange County for sale, 10.3% higher than it was last month. Excuse me. So we are getting properties coming on the market. We are up, you guys, 54.5% over last year. That's bananas. That's a lot, right? So that is over last year, same time frame in January. Okay. So that means Orange County is seeing a good influx of properties coming on the market. Okay. Sold properties are down 30.9% over last year. I'm sorry, over last month, and only down slightly by 2.7% over last year. That's sold closings. All right. Pendants are up 13.2% over last month and up 0.6% over last year. So that inventory is translating into pendants, which should catch up and translate into solds, okay? We'll see how that actually works out when we look at next week's numbers, how January ended up actually ending, because you know everybody right now is rushing to close that end of January, right? All right, new listing inventory is up 58.8% over last month. However, down 4% over last year. Okay, so new listing inventory is down slightly 4% over last year. All righty. Average active price is up 1.7% over last month and down 7.3% over last year. So sellers are asking on average right now 7.3% lower than they did last year. However, they are receiving 7.9% higher than they did last year. So they're asking lower, right? But they're actually getting their properties to go higher on average, which is great. But Orange County, remember, Orange County has the least amount of inventory on the market. They're the county that has the least amount of inventory, right? So definitely they're probably still seeing multiple offers in a lot of areas. A lot of competition. Anybody selling in Orange County right now and they're seeing competition with their buyers or on their listings? No? Okay. All right, so months of inventory, you still see here, we're still in the 2 months of inventory. So although Los Angeles County is in the 4.2 months of inventory, you see here, Orange County is just 2.5 months of inventory. So a 57.9% increase over last month. We were at 1.6 months of inventory, now we're at 2.5. And then a 57.6% increase overall, because last year we were at 1.6 months of inventory and currently we're at 2.5. So clearly we're still doing much better than we were last year, but we are still in a severe seller's market in Orange County. Okay. So you're not going to see the same dynamic that you're seeing in LA County in Orange County, right? You're not going to see that same houses staying on the market a little bit longer. You actually probably won't see that in Orange County just yet, right? Until we start to see more inventory come on the market. All right, average days on market is 14.3% higher than it was last month. We were at 35 days on market last month. We're at 40 days on market, and that's 29% higher over last year, because last year we had 31 days on market. Currently, we're at 40. Again, this all makes sense because last year we had even less inventory. So yes, days on market has gone up a little bit because last year we were even more inventory. There was even more of an inventory shortage, right? So versus original list price has not changed, as 96% of list sellers are getting 96% of their list price, which is a 0 change over last month. A 1% decrease over last year. Last year, sellers were getting 97% of list price. Currently, we're getting 96% of list price. And then let's just be clear. I always say it, but I'm going to say it again. We help to determine what our sellers, we influence what our sellers are going to receive by how we advise them on setting the price, right? And if they listen to us, right? Some sellers just say, hey, I want this. And then you got to make a business decision if you're going to go ahead and put the house on the market for what they want, especially if they're being unrealistic. But if they are taking your advice and allowing you to do your job, then, and you advise them of a price and they take that price, then you should be able to get them 100% of list price, because you are watching these trends and you've done your due diligence, your research on the market in the area, and you know exactly what you should be, pricing that property in order to get it sold. All right, Riverside County, for sale properties, 6.1% increase over last month and a 49.2% increase over last year. Okay. So definitely, again, just like all the other counties, we're seeing a good amount of inventory start to come on the market, right? Sold properties, 26.8% down over last month and a 7.9% decrease over last year. So we're still starting off slow in Riverside County, a 7.9% decrease in sold properties. Pendants are up 22.8% over last month and up 11.6% over last year. Hopefully that's going to translate into solds and bump that sold number up, okay? especially since we've got so much more, 49.2% more inventory. And then we've got more new listing inventory, 49.6% more new listing inventory over last month, and then 5.7% increase over last year. Okay, so new listing inventory, that that was not even included. This is new listings, like a new development, right? That is now coming on the market. All right, average active price has gone up 2.2% over last month and 1.9% decrease over last year. So again, in Riverside, these numbers tend to be a lot more normal. They tend to be in normal ranges. So sellers are asking 1.9% less than they did last year. However, they're receiving 4.1% higher than they did last year. So they're very much in the normal range of appreciation. Okay, in Riverside County. All right, months of inventory. Again, just like LA County, we are in the 4.9 months of inventory. So we are, again, really getting into that normal market sweet spot. Okay, so 44.3% increase over last month. We were at 3.4 months of inventory last month. We're at 4.9 months of inventory currently. And that's the same. We were a 62.8% increase over last year. We were at 3 months of inventory last year. We're at now 4.9 months of inventory currently. So out here, in Riverside County, you'll probably see prices start to level off, not go up as much, right? 4.1% increase. That's a very normal rate of appreciation. So you're not going to see house prices climb so much. You're going to see them kind of normal, kind of level out, right? Which is good for your buyers, and your sellers are still seeing a little bit of appreciation, right? And I told my buyers, my sellers / buyers, because they're selling and buying, I'm like, it's actually good for them because it's a double-edged sword. You could sell high, but you're going to buy high, right? So if you sell at a normal amount of appreciation and you've lived in that home for 10 years where that appreciation is compounded. So you really are making a good amount of money on that home, right? And then you're selling it, taking that equity and moving it into another home. And in that home, you're not buying it as high as in maybe other areas, because in Riverside County, the appreciation is actually pretty normal, right? So average days on market, 6.4% increase over last month. So we're at 47 days on market last month. We're at 50 days on market currently. An 11.1% increase overall. We were at 45 days on market last year. We're at 50 days on market currently. Okay, but don't let that fool you, because you need to be out there getting your buyers into those properties quickly so that your offer is the first one, right? Sold versus original list price, no change. We were at 96% of list price last month and last year, and we're at 96% of list price currently. So 0% change. Again, our sellers should be happy because they are getting close to 100% of their list price. And again, if we are advising them correctly, we can help them to get much closer to that 100% of list price. Okay. San Bernardino County, the last county of the day. All right. So for sale properties, a 0.9% decrease over last month. All righty. And a 44.2% increase over last year. So just like every other county, we are seeing nice amount of increases in inventory coming on the market. Okay, sellers are now saying, nope, I'm ready to go. Let's sell this puppy, right? They're ready to go. They're tired of waiting. They're like, let's sell it. And they're putting their properties on the market. The only question is, are they listing with you? Right? That's the question. Who are they listing with? Because they're listing, you guys. We got 44% more inventory in San Bernardino County. We got like 49% more inventory in Riverside County. You got like 30%. No, it was like 50%, right? Some crazy number in Orange County. And then the same in LA County. So we're getting more inventory across the board. The question is, who are they listing with, right? All right. Sold property is down 27.8% over last month, and down 4.8% over last year, okay? So we are down, sold properties are down 4.8%, not huge, just something that we're definitely gonna be watching, right? Because we've got all this inventory now, we want that to translate into pendants and into solds. And so, pendants are up 9.9% over last month. However, they are down 7.5% over last year. So properties that have gone into escrow are actually down, okay? Then we've got new listings. New listings are up 35.6% over last month, and no change over last year. So same amount of new listing inventory as last year, okay? All right, average active price is 1% increase over last month in San Bernardino County and 4% decrease over last year. So sellers are asking on average 4% less than they did last year. However, they are receiving 11.2% higher than they did last year. Okay, so they are asking less, but they're getting more. They're receiving more. Okay, and just like Riverside County, we are definitely into that normal market. We're starting to get into that normal market here in San Bernardino County, where you've got 4.5 months of inventory, which is a 36.4% increase over last month, okay? And then a 50% increase, 50.3% increase over last year. Last year, we had 3 months of inventory in San Bernardino County, and now we're at 4.5 months of inventory. So again, the conversations you're going to start having with your sellers, the frequency of those conversations will need to be there, because you're going to be, you're going to have more days on market. You're potentially not going to have an offer like right off the back as soon as you hit the market, right? So you've got to have those systems in place to keep in touch with your clients, keep them informed. All right, average days on market, 13.3% increase over last month. We are at 45 days on market, currently at 51 days on market, and that's an increase of 18.6% over last year. Last year, we had 43 days on market, currently at 51 days on market, okay? Sold versus original list price has gone down 3.1%. We were at 97% of list price last month. We're at 94% of list price currently, which is the exact same for last year, right? So sellers in San Bernardino County are getting 97%, 94% of their list price currently, okay? So again, it's our job to price it right, to help to price it right so that we can get them the highest price possible and get them up there in terms of their sold versus original list price, okay? All right, any questions about those, 4 counties and the numbers?
Yes,
Please.
I had to jump off earlier and I heard you saying something about a buyer's market. Are we heading towards a buyer's market? How close are we to that?
So right here, Doris, we're looking at the absorption rate, which is how many months of inventory are on the market, or how many months of inventory. If we stop selling all the inventory, how many months it would take us to sell out.
Right.
Between 0 and 4, you are in you're in a seller's market. Okay. Between 4 and 7, 4 and 6, you're in a balanced market. Okay. After that, 6.5 beyond, you're in a buyer's market. So what we're doing here in most of the counties, except for Orange County, we are approaching that balanced market. We're at the very beginning of that balanced market.
Nice.
Okay. So that's what I talked about. Okay. Is that for San Bernardino, Riverside, and LA County, we're in the 4 months. I think LA County is 4.2, Riverside's like 4.8 or something, 4.6. And then we're looking at 4.5 here in San Bernardino. Okay. And then in Orange County, it's like 2.6. Right. So we're still in that severe seller's market in Orange County. But again, when you're looking at this is countywide, right? I would want you to, if you're doing a CMA for somebody, or if you're doing an analysis for an investor or something like that, you really want to look at this hyper local, and you want to pull the numbers for that neighborhood, because you want to make sure that in that particular neighborhood, you're still not in a seller's market, right? Because if you are, then you're going to advise your client a little bit different than I would advise my client who's looking at this type of situation.
Yes, thank you.
You're very welcome. Absolutely. Anybody else have any questions? Iliadora?
Yes. Where are these sellers moving to? Or are you seeing a trend that they're moving from like all the sellers now, like the inventories in LA is up now, but where are they going? Have you noticed?
To be honest with you, in my case, what I'm hearing and what I'm seeing is really all over. So a lot of my clients went from LA County to IE, to the Inland Empire. They did not move out of state. They
Morning.
just wanted to move up. So and wanting to move up meant that they were going to spend more money, but instead of them spending more money because now they can telecommute or telework, they were like, no, I could buy a bigger house out in the IE and not have to drive in every day, right? So I'll just go out there and get more money, get more house for my money. So I'm seeing that. And then you're seeing folks who are downsizing, right? And they're moving to be with their kids. And their kids are in Texas, Atlanta, Arizona, Nevada. You know, those are our normal places that folks go to from California. But believe me, we have more people coming into Southern California than going out of Southern California. The news tries to make you think there's this exodus, and I'm like, dude, we wouldn't be in a shortage if there was such an exodus of people. We don't, that's just not the truth. So
Thank you.
you're welcome. Absolutely. Anybody else have any questions? No? Okay. All right. Let's keep it pushing. So we have got a week packed of events this week, you guys. We have you guys are attending our industry update. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And we are going to be doing group coaching at 12. I will be doing the group coaching today. And we're going to be talking about where you guys are at with your New Year's goals. What are the challenges? Again, we want to stay on track, right? We made all these plans. We did all this strategic planning. So we've got to be accountable to that. And so we're going to talk about that. Like what are those plans? Are we off track, on track? How are we keeping ourselves accountable to our goals? Okay. And then we've got conversations in real play in the morning at 9 a.m. With Diana Carbajal, and we've got Q&A tomorrow in-house with Ed Bonilla at 11 a.m. So you guys definitely want to be here. And I'm pretty sure, yeah. And then we've got Ignite tomorrow night. You guys have to have the, you got to register. If you want to do Ignite, and it's all Zoom, and these classes, you guys, they just rinse and repeat. So they're all during the year. So go ahead and register, click on the QR code for the West Coast, and you guys can register. Even you seasoned agents, it's good for a refresher. So click on that. And I posted this in the hub last week as well. Okay. But you do have to register, and then it'll send you a link.
What is
All right.
Ignite?
Ignite is our flagship new agent training.
Okay.
Okay, so it takes
Thank
you
you.
from A to Z, like building your business, building a plan. It goes into how to work with sellers, how to work with buyers, scripts and dialogues you can use. It's the A to Z.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome. And then we've got our tech workshop Wednesdays at 1 to 2 with Martha. That is really, you guys, if I did have Oscar on and Kim on, they would tell you that, and I do have Kim on. Kim spends, she literally spends with them like freaking 2.5 hours. So this goes from like 1 to 4. It's crazy. And Martha just pours into them. And she's giving them stuff that's not only command. She was teaching them last week on how to pull stuff from the MLS, teaching them how to pull stuff from Jorge's app, teaching them how to pull information that Oscar was paying for. So he was like, oh my God, he was having a revelation in there. And he said it. He always does that though, but that's because she's always bringing such good value. So you guys need to be on that tech workshop. And it's really, and you really need to be in-house. We are recording it. I believe we're recording it. But it's difficult, you know, when you're dealing with technology. But definitely if you listen to the recording, you can pick up on it. Okay. Then this week we have Media Day with Hometown. So for those of you who did it the first time around, we have it this time around. It's going to be Wednesday at 11 o'clock right here. We want you guys to be there. This is where Gary Watt with Hometown is going to be teaching us and taking us out so that we can produce videos for social media, for our socials. So we're going to be producing videos. He's teaching us how to put ourselves out there. If you guys follow him, this guy records every freaking thing. He lives out front, if you will. And for those of us who are shyer or who, you know, what I say is I'm always in the moment, so I don't have time for that, right? I say that, but the reality is I'm just not that, you know, although I may seem like it, I'm really not that social when it comes to being on social media. But he's teaching us that we have to be there because our clients are there. And they want to get to know us, like us, and trust us. And the best way to do that is to stay in front of them. And I was talking with Adriana about this morning about really kicking up the business, right? Well, guess what? This is one of the ways is to increase your top of mind awareness, is to be out there on the socials where your clients are, right? And you see the different socials. There's Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. Well, guess what? Be strategic. Where is your database at? You don't need to do all three of them. You need to do the one where your people
You
are.
don't have the HDX brand for the toilet paper and the paper towels anymore?
No, Chris, I don't. I'm all
We
out
used
of
to have
toilet
them.
paper. So we've got to actually be where our clients are. Okay. That's super important. And what he does is he teaches us how to do it. Last time we learned B-roll, we learned what that meant and how to actually film it. We learned some quick tips and tricks that we could do while we're actually at a bakery. And it was really cool. Now what they do is it's $50 and they are going to help us to create 4 videos. They're going to create them for us. We have to be there. We have to record and everything. And then they help us to create 4 videos. Okay. And they deliver to you 4 videos. Why 4? Because you're going to release 1 a week. Okay. So what we're doing, and we are looking, if you guys happen to know one, and I'll have one by tomorrow, but we're looking for like a really nice listing that we can go to. And it doesn't have to be in Downey. If you guys know of a really nice listing, that's ours in-house, or that is one of a friend of yours, then we can go film at that listing. Okay. And then and we also film like a feature highlight of the city, okay, or surrounding area. That's what we do. And that's how we create our 4 videos. Okay. So we're like little kids on a field trip going from place to place. It's a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun last time. So, and we were at a bakery, so we ate. It was all fun. All right. So that's this Wednesday. Make sure that you sign up with the front desk 561@kw.com to let us know that you will be here. Okay. Because we do have to make arrangements. We want to make sure that we have enough, that Gary knows exactly how many he's going to be doing. So make sure that you're there that day. It's going to be great. All right. And then we have our broker hour with Ed Wednesdays and Thursdays at 10. You guys know that. The subject matter is on our website. Does everybody know that our website, if you ever want to see our trainings and things like that, you can go to kwselaleverage.com, kwselaleverage.com. That is where you can find our calendar, right? And our logos, our vendors. I mean, it's a wealth of information up there. So make sure you guys favorite that website, but that's where you can always find our calendar if you want to know what's going on. And then on Friday, we are having Candelamas Day, which is basically, well, Rosco de Reyes, we did that last couple of weeks ago. And we actually, several of us got the babies out of the bread. We got the babies out the bread, right? So, and this is celebrating the birth of Jesus. And And the little babies are baby Jesus, right? And so, and it's the 4 wise men, and they brought the jewels and the myrrh and all that to Mary and Joseph. And so this is a Catholic tradition. But the reason why we celebrate it is because we celebrate all, we're a culturally diverse environment. And we want to celebrate all of us, all of our cultures. And this is a really cool thing. If you know Keller Williams, we're God, family, and then business, right? So yes, I'm with you, Eleodora. I'm all about that. So with this, we are bringing the tamales and the champurrado. So champurrado. So we are having that on Friday. So do not miss out. You guys get free tamales on Friday, right? So come on. Make sure that you do sign up with the front desk. Again, let us know that you're going to be here so we have enough food. We don't want to run out of food. So make sure that you sign up with the front desk. Let us know that you're going to be here so that the 4 of us who got the babies will make sure that we have enough food for everybody. And if you'd like to bring something, please, again, sign up with the front desk. We'd love to have you. All right.
Do you know how to make tamales?
What's that?
Do you know how to make tamales?
Not even close. No, but I know how to buy them. I got a lot of people over here who got my back, Eleodora, on that tamale situation. So yes, I'm gonna be buying those tamales. Yeah, we've had some good ones, and I'm like, Monica, go get me some tamales from that lady who does them, and she hooks us up. So we are bringing back the Fix and Flip series by Pavin. All right, it's 5-class series. Class number 1 is February 4th. So that's actually next week. All righty, we're starting on February 4th from 1 to 2:30. He is going to be teaching us the intro. Number 2 class is going to be the property analysis, and then the market analysis, and then how to analyze the financial package, and then how to pitch that to your investor. Okay. So this is kind of your intro into how to start getting into investing. All right. Fix and Flip is how to start getting to your investing. And he's got a case study because he's working on a fix and flip that he is going to be using as our case study. And that's the property that you see right here. Okay. So we're really excited about this. Pavin's investment series was featured in the Dennis Quaid series. I was actually interviewed. So was Rich. Jorge and Anthony were interviewed, and it's going to be on TV, you guys. So it's really cool. He is he's doing some wonderful work in terms of educating realtors on how to become investors. We give these opportunities away every day. Unless you're like Adriana with a dad who's taught her since she was in a diaper how to be an investor. We end up giving these opportunities away. We see a good investment opportunity and we call our investor, right? Instead of looking at it from a could it be something that we could invest in, right? Ourselves and make that money. And so this is a good class for us all to be in so that we can learn how to do this and how to become that investor and keep some of those opportunities for ourselves and build our own portfolio. How sad is it that most realtors don't even own property, you guys? Don't even own their own home. We rent, right? And that was me for a very long time. And so definitely we're so grateful to Pavin for teaching us this. And then the Millionaire Real Estate Agent podcast, I just want to make sure I put that. This is an older episode 2 weeks ago. But you guys need to be listening to the Real Estate Agent podcast. The one that I listened to last week was on reviews and how to get reviews and how to make those reviews, your reviews or your testimonials become what propels you to meet more people, right? Our social proof. So it's great for you to toot your own horn, but it's awesome for someone else to toot your own horn or to toot your horn, right? And then especially if it's someone who's got any notoriety in your neighborhood, that might be one of those people that is well known in your neighborhood, and you get them to give you a testimonial. It's awesome. But here's the key of what I learned in that podcast is everybody can give you a testimonial. He's a millionaire real estate producer. And his thing is, look, when I do a deal with another agent, I ask them to give me a 5-star review and I'll give them one. Right? That's how he's got 2,000 reviews. And guess what? He was killing it on Zillow with reviews. Do you know Zillow took his reviews down to 500? Yeah, because he was outperforming even the people that were paying for the zip codes. And so they took his reviews down and he was livid. And so he called them and was like, well, how could you guys just arbitrarily take my reviews down? And they have pretty much no explanation other than you were beating all of our agents. And so we thought to make it more equitable, we would bring your reviews down. They gave him a couple hundred more. He was back up to like 700. But what he learned from that is that Google is actually a better platform to have your reviews on, because they don't care, right? Because they're not in that selling zip codes thing. So they don't care. So Google is a better place for you to have your reviews. But I really did think that that was a good idea that he gets reviews from everybody, his title officer, any escrow folks that he does business with. They're like, he asked them to give them a review, and they'll, and in turn, I will give you a review, right? So what escrow, we work with escrow companies every day when you close a transaction. If it's not our own escrow, you have to go work with whomever the seller has, right? And so you ask that escrow company at the end to give you a review, a 5-star, and be specific. I'd like a 5-star review, right? And I will in turn give you one. Do you know how many reviews you could rack up? So I don't know about you guys, but listen to that Millionaire Real Estate Agent podcast. It was the one from last week or the week before. Excellent. And it will really get you guys excited, because now for those of us who are like, oh, but I only closed a couple of deals. Well, guess what? That's probably about 3 or 4 reviews. Your client, the agent, the title officer, or the escrow officer, at least, right? The inspector. Hey, and I'll give you a review. I'm saying we could milk this. Okay, so let's milk it. All right, let's keep pushing. All right, so sellers want max exposure for their listing survey finds. Again, now listen, sellers want max exposure. They've always wanted max exposure, but guess what? Now that they're in more competition, they want more exposure, right? That's what they want from us. They want to ensure that their listings are getting out to the masses. Zillow surveyed more than 7,000 people about their listings, and the topic that resonated with most sellers is getting their listing seen. Okay, so definitely that's what sellers are looking for. 80% will want their home listed on public consumer websites, which happens when you put your listing out there. On the MLS, it's propagated to hundreds of websites, right? But definitely, I want you guys to be intentional about getting your sellers' listings out there, even to the point where what I do is creating a video and actually putting it out there and putting some money behind it in terms of a Facebook ad, right? So that you're showing your seller that you're really upping your game and putting the property out there and getting more exposure. California homes insurance crisis is just the beginning. So we were talking about this earlier. There have been thousands of homes impacted. They're saying between 17,000 and 20,000 homes or structures actually impacted by the various fires. That even the California Fair Plan may need to be bailed out. And we were just talking about that one being the one that has to insure, and it's fire only, right? But they may have to be bailed out because they are facing massive claims, and they may not have the funds for it. Okay, so this is definitely a big deal. They're saying that there's going to have to be insurance reform. Like the different programs, the different insurers are looking at just a complete reformation of the insurance industry and how insurances are now going to be provided. And so because it may become really too expensive for the common person. And so other models may emerge, is what they were saying. So I just wanted to kind of show this to you guys. I'm going to try to post the article up on the hub so that you guys can read the entire article. But definitely, it is definitely something that is being discussed in all of the roundtables right now. And among the what do you call it? The policymakers right now, because this has hit us extremely hard. And looks like we just are underfunded in the insurance industry.
Hey, Brandy, I just wanted to share the moratorium on the non-renewals. That is only applying to single family. So any of your clients, friends that own income property, I mean, it could be one, right? And they're a small landlord and that's all of their family's legacy, or, you know, they're having to go California Fair Plan.
Yeah,
So.
that's wow. I didn't know that. Thank you.
Yeah,
Adriana.
I just got that from my insurance agent.
Okay, gotcha. So you guys heard that it's just on single family residences, the moratorium on non-renewal. So if they have a investment property, it could not be renewed. Okay. And yeah, that could hit, especially like you said, our small mom and pop investors, right? So definitely you guys want to keep, now you know where you can go to get a lot of good information is car.org. car.org. They give great information, updates on all things California related, and the fires, the impact, all that. I'm getting a lot of information off of there. And you can share it on your socials, right? Because again, if you want you to be the place where people get the information, then you've got to be out there providing that information to them, right? One of the things that I'm just not good at, like I was asking my 22-year-old daughter, I'm like, how do you share this? Like, how do I get this out there? I always see these great stories, and it's like all this information back to back to back, you know, articles from other agents. And I'm just like, I just want to be able to do that, but I don't want to have to take 30 minutes to do it, right? So those are things we have to learn. I guess we have to slow down and speed up. But these are good things to be sharing on our socials, because people are asking like, what's going on? Even clients right now that were not even impacted. Like one of my clients is in Rancho, and she was like, Brandy, what's going to happen with my policy? And I'm sitting here like, what do you mean? What's going to happen with your policy? She's like, well, is it going to go up? And you know, what is going to happen? And I'm like, good question. Good question. She's not affected, but even your non-effective clients are worried. Like, what's going to happen? Is this going to cause my insurance to go up? Well, the question is, we don't know, right? We don't know for sure. But what we do know is that we need to keep an eye out on it. I tell them, please keep an eye out for your mail. Make sure that you're looking out for any mail from your insurance company. If you're up for renewal right now, call your insurance agent, right? Get a copy of your declaration page, call your insurance agent and talk to your agent. Make sure there's no changes that are going to materially impact you that you need to be aware of right now, right? So even giving advice like that is useful to your clients, okay? And just being that resource for them, okay? And then I wanted to, this is like a splash page because there's so many articles out there right now. So just so you guys know, last year, we did not meet the threshold of the 4 million, or we did not, we're still in the lowest sales year. Last year was the lowest sales year since 1995. 2023, we sold 4.09 million homes. Last year, we sold 4.06 million homes, 2024. So it was the lowest home sales year since 1995. Okay. Yeah, it is a big wow. So that is primarily because of our high interest rates and our low inventory, right? Those are the two major factors: high inventory or high interest rates and low inventory. So now what are they saying is that, well, just to give you guys a little context, for the last 10 years, home sales have averaged 5.2 million. So we literally have been like 1.1 million shy of what we've averaged for the last 10 years. Okay. So that means 1 million less homes on the market for us to do business with, right? So now what are they saying this year? Well, this year they're saying that we should be at the 4.98 million, right below 5 million. That's what they're suggesting. And there's some factors that, you know, are going to impact us. One thing over here, this easier rents could mean fewer buyers this spring. So the easier rents are in the apartments and multifamily units. They're seeing an ease on rents right now. So what does that mean? It means that rents are leveling off. They're not going up, right? Where they're not increasing sharply. So they're leveled off, okay? Which is good because I mean it's been crazy, but what is still increasing and what continues to increase are single family residence rents. They've gone up 25% over the last year. So those are still going up at a rapid rate. So don't think like, oh, you know, people who want to be in a house are still paying astronomical amounts for rents. Now, people who are in an apartment or in a multifamily, yes, they are seeing a little bit of relief. But if they're in a home, they're still seeing those rents go up. They're paying darn near what you pay a mortgage, what you pay in a mortgage a lot of times. So, so just keep that in mind that, and you guys, rents, California actually did not even make the top 3 in terms of the highest rents in the country. So that was interesting. It was like Austin, Texas, and one other place I can't recall, but it was Austin, Texas, and one other place and I think it was actually in Texas. So those are the higher rent areas, but we weren't in the top 3. All right. Now, mortgage rates dipped for the first time in 6 weeks. And they say that we are keeping a close, the economists are keeping a close watch on it. They're saying that obviously the politics may have something to do with how interest rates are going to adjust. In the first week, President Donald Trump proposed steep tariffs for China, Canada, and Mexico starting in February. That if that happens, inflation is expected to rise, right? You guys know, and I hate, this is just like, I hate to say it, but remember the way that they level off inflation rising is rising interest rates, right? However, on the flip side of this tariff, Donald Trump has also demanded that the interest rates drop immediately. Okay, that was his World Economic Forum on January 23rd, that he would demand that the interest rates drop immediately. However, what he's doing in terms of the tariff increases directly contradicts, you know, his plea for interest rates to drop. So we'll have to see how that all plays out, I should say. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are projecting that the interest rates will end up at about 6.5% this year. Well, that's lower than it is now, so we would definitely welcome that. But it is reducing at a slower rate than we actually expected. Okay, we expected us to see the 6.5 like in the first quarter. And what they're saying is we are going to see these interest rates go down very, very incrementally, and end up at a 6.5, which is you know, which is good. Better than it is now, but not quite what we thought. A lot of the predictions were we were going to end up at like 5.75, 5.8, and they're saying now that, you know, we probably are going to end up in the mid 6s. The other thing just to keep in mind is that with the rate revision, they were saying our sales will be annual rate of 5 million. Now they're saying it's going to look like 4.89 million. Which still is in that 30-year low, but definitely still more transactions, 890,000 more transactions than we did last year, this year. And we still remember the prediction is that we're going to see less realtors in our market. They're dropping out, right? More realtors are seeing from the BRBC changes to the interest rates and the competition. They're just like, hey, we don't want to deal with this, right? It's not easy money anymore. So let me go ahead and get out and let me go get a job, right? So for those people who didn't take this career seriously and thought of this as easy money, those realtors are starting to say, nope, don't want to do this. This is too hard. And they're leaving. And I say, bye-bye, good riddance, right? Because then that means those clients will be for us, right? They can go, we can service those clients, and we have the true professionals staying in the market, right? So that's what's going on right now. Does anybody have any questions? No, good.
No questions.
All righty. You guys, if you would like to submit your prayer request to KW, you guys can use this QR code and submit prayer requests. I love that they have this, so I just wanted to share this with you guys. And then actually it will be shown at family reunion. We have a whole prayer, we have a whole inspirational breakfast. It used to be called a prayer breakfast. Now it's called the inspirational breakfast on Friday morning with Mo Anderson. And it's just a beautiful time when they share prayers that have been answered, and then they share prayers that need to be answered. So you guys welcome to capture that and submit your prayer requests. Please keep Chris, please keep Doris's son in your prayers. His home was burned down. She's one of our agents in Pasadena, and he's looking currently for a place to live for the next, however long it takes. And so please keep his family in prayer. Anybody else? We good?
Thank you, Brandy. It was great.
Thank you, Marlena. You guys have a wonderful week. I hope to see you
Thank you,
at some of the
Brandy.
trainings this week, and have a really
Thank you,
awesome
Brandy.
week. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Have a good
Thank
day.
you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Ivan.
Mhm.
Oh, I had some chat. What did the people say? Oh, that was yours. Okay. Awesome sauce.